Ready, fight!
Welcome to the cave. How's it going, team? Caveman here from Caveman Bets, bringing you some UFC DFS for the upcoming UFC 265 Cyril Garn vs Derek Lewis. We've got a brand new channel here at Caveman Bets. We're going to be bringing you tons of DFS, season-long fantasy, sports betting, basically everything that we can give you to try and make a profit betting on sports. So, of course, guys, give the channel a wee subscribe, like the videos, leave some comments what you think your best lineups are, any fighters you don't think I did due diligence for, and let's try and get the optimal lineup so we can cash in DFS this week. So let's just get straight into it. Of course, the first fight is going to be Johnny Munoz versus Jamie Simmons, and to me this is just an easy, straightforward fight. There's a legit fighter here, and there is one that is not. So Jamie Munoz, he's the first guy I'm going to be throwing into my lineups. Of course, this is my optimal lineup. I'm going to be throwing a bunch of other ones out there. I always like to have a variety of different lineups. Sometimes one cashes, sometimes a bunch of them cash. Hey, sometimes none of them cash, but that's how we go. I've been making profit off DFS so far. Last week was a great week for us, over 350% profit. But we'll get into this one. Kicking it off, where are we? With Munoz. If I can find him. Nope, that would be the wrong Munoz. Here we are. 9100. Now, on the upper echelon, I don't like going that high generally on players. But hey, this guy looks like an absolute knockout artist in this fight. Our next one up, we have Victoria Leonardo versus Melissa Gatto. Now, this is an odd fight. Melissa Gatto would be my pick because of the submissions, but at 8,800 and a fighter who hasn't fought in a few years, I just can't get around that one at all. Alternatively, Leonardo, 7,400. I think there's some value there. Obviously, I really don't like going for fighters that have been out for a long time. In fact, fading them or going the other way is always a decent prospect. I've actually put Leonardo into my lineup here, and the reason for that is it just fits with the numbers. Once I get down to the rest of the guys I really like in this card, Leonardo's the best one that's left. And I think she is completely live to be beating Gatto here. Obviously, Gatto, you have to worry about the submissions, but Leonardo could come out and KO her. I think she's the better striker. She's better on her feet. She's going to be getting more significant strikes, and she's live for a KO. Next fight up, we have Miles Johns versus Dos Santos. Now, this is a fight that was being postponed from a couple of weeks ago. I'm not taking either of these fighters in my lineup, but if I was to be going for one, I would be going for Miles Johns. 8,900 is up there, but I think Miles Johns is definitely live in this fight, and he's live for a knockout as well. He's kind of the next best guy that missed out for this team. But yeah, Miles Johns, I really like this week. Our next one, we have Manuel Cape and Odie Osborne. Now this is a fight that I am predicting violence. Someone is going to get floored in this fight. If we look at the prices here on DraftKings, we have Cape at 9,000 and we have Osborne at 7,200. For me, that's a no-brainer. Osborne, he's live for a KO in the first couple of rounds. And to be honest, I actually like betting on him this week as well. I think he's coming in at a great price. Our next fight up, we have Carolina versus Jessica Penae. And I am staying as far away from this fight as I can. Carolina, of course, coming off, I think, a 4-fight losing streak. Maybe she got the win in her last one there. Jessica Penae was out for about 5 years before coming back. To me, that's just screaming fade, fade, fade. Then we're going into Ed Herman and Alonzo Minifield. To me, Minifield is live for a KO, and not just a KO, he's live for a first round KO. If you're looking at FanDuel, I'd be putting him into the MVP slot, getting that 1.5, because Minifield, to me, him and Munoz, those are my two absolute locks of the week. Those are the players I think are going to be absolutely live to get those KOs and anchor our DFS squads. After that, we have Draco versus Morales. I'm trying to stay as far away from this fight as I can. I don't rate either fighter. This looks like a low-volume slog to the finish, or someone could come out and get KO'd in the first 15 seconds. I just don't think whoever wins this fight obviously going to stay in the UFC. The loser is out, most likely. I really don't think whoever wins it is going to stay in the UFC past their next fight after this. I just don't want to go near this fight at all. Rounding out the undercard is Rafael Fiziev versus Bobby Green. Now, Fiziev at 9,300. I really like Fiziev and I like him to win this fight, but at 9,300, I'm not going near that. He's not going to knock Bobby Green out. Green's got a fantastic chin. I like Fiziev for his striking. He's the striking coach over at Tiger Muay Thai. And like I say, I like him to win this game. Bobby Green, if he gets those takedowns, he can make this fight very close. Bobby Green always fights close. He's a close fighter. Like I say, Fiziev to get the win, maybe unanimous, maybe a split decision, would not surprise me in the slightest. Hey, it's Texas as well. Maybe Bobby Green gets the decision if he gets Fiziev to the ground. Fiziev has great takedown defense, but he hasn't really fought anyone that's going to be taking him down a lot. So I would lean towards Fiziev. The price point, I just can't do it, not at 9,300. If you're wanting to go for a bit of a left field option, hey, Bobby Green is definitely not the worst guy on this lineup. Moving into the main card, and we have Yadong Song Yadong versus Casey Kenny. Love this fight. This is going to be a sit back and just watch the fight. I can't see either guy getting knocked out here. Maybe Song Yadong comes out with a good knockout, but I would be most likely looking for this to go to points. And I would say there's going to be some good striking. Just for the fact that it's very difficult to call who's going to win this fight. I am not going to be adding either guy into my side, but I would not fault anyone for taking either Song Yadong or Casey Kenny in this fight. Then we have Tisha Torres versus Angela Hill. Now, Tisha Torres, love this fighter. She is brutal. People are going to be looking at her thinking the KO, but she's a points fighter. She got that big KO in the last fight against Akan, but she's an absolute points fighter, and that's why I can't add her in, especially at 8,700. I absolutely can't get behind that at all. This fight has taken place before, about five or 6 years ago. You've got Tisha Torres got the win in that fight. I always like going back to the person who won the first fight in the rematches. Now, Angela Hill, I can get behind it. Hey, she's definitely not the worst fighter. She's a couple of wins, and she's definitely in contention for a title shot. So I wouldn't knock anyone for taking either of these fighters. Like I say, the price is just too high for Tisha Torres. And at the end of the day, this fight is going to decision. Everyone knows that already. And hey, it's Texas. I don't like trusting many of the fights going to decision this week. After that, we have Vicente Lucay versus Michael Joseah. Now, wow, Lucay, knockout artist, and he is going to be absolutely trying to get Joseah out as quickly as he can. Joseah, obviously one of the best grapplers and wrestlers we have seen in a while. He just gets you on the ground and works you with that Dagestani style wrestling. To me, I'm going to be taking Vicente Lucay just because I think he's going to be coming out fast, and he's going to try and clip Joseah in that first round or the start of the second. Obviously, round 1 and 2, start on your feet, which is the only reason I wouldn't be going for Joseah. Now, if Joseah gets this fight to the mat, I would be looking at him to win a points decision. So I can't fault you if you want to take that road, try and get the points on him with the takedowns, with the submission attempts, that kind of thing. But yeah, for me, I'm going Lucay this week. I just think that KO opportunity is going to be too high. Our co-main event is Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz. What a fight this is going to be. I see a high volume striking fight that just goes all the way to the end, and you've probably seen with my remaining salary, I'm on Jose Aldo here. I think Aldo is going to be hungry. He's going to want to be able to try and get back into a title shot. Munoz, he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. I see him as Aldo light. I just think Aldo's going to be the one that comes out and roughs him up. The main event, Cyril Garn versus Derek Lewis. Now, I haven't gone for either of these fighters. Cyril Garn is a low-volume fighter, and to be honest, I think that plays into the hands of Derek Lewis. Lewis, obviously, always alive for that knockout. He's knocked out a few good fighters before. Cyril Garn, of course, undefeated, but he fought, 5-6 weeks ago. For heavyweights, I don't like that turnaround time. I think that's just a bit too short. Lewis, of course, has the massive weight advantage on him as well. And the thing with Lewis is he's live for a knockout from 10 seconds into the fight till 10 seconds to go in the fight. He can knock someone out at any point. So with the price that Cyril Garn's at, I wouldn't actually be going near him. 9,400 at DraftKings is too high for me, too rich for my blood. Derek Lewis, I think, is a little underpriced. Of course, he's not going to be doing the work. He's not going to be getting a lot of significant strikes. He won't be getting takedowns. He won't be getting a lot of those scoring categories. You're basically throwing him in there for the KO prop. So, yeah, my lean on this fight would be, from a fantasy perspective or a DFS perspective, Derek Lewis, because of the price, because of what he's worth there. Cyril Garn just overpriced for me. Well, that does it for my lineup for the UFC 265 DFS. You can check out my lineup here. Now, guys, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing out tons of content. We've got the EPL coming up. We've got the NFL coming up. I'm going to be bringing out new videos every day in the build-up to these events. So stay tuned. We've got a brand new show coming out tomorrow as well. A daily sports show, well, weekly sports show, focusing on the next few days worth of sporting events. We're going to have special guests on there as well, breaking down different events, giving you the hottest betting tips that we can find and that we have researched ourselves. So please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and enjoy. Cheers, guys.